Now we are going to start with the fourth step, that is the weeding. So what we do actually in weeding, first of all we should know that what is weeds. Weeds are the unwanted plants that grow along with the main crop. Sometimes you must have noticed that there are certain kind of fields, you don't plant any seeds, but still you get to see certain kind of plants there. So they are not actually a useful plant, they all are weeds. So weeds are the unwanted plants that grow along with the main crop. Example, the commonly called weed is amaranthus, that is called as cholai also. Now what is the harmful effect of weeds? What weeds actually do? They share space, nutrient, water, etc. Like whatever you are providing with to the main crop, they are just using that. And moreover, they spread disease also. They spread disease also, and there is a problem in harvesting also. There is a problem because they get mixed up with the main crop. So we need to remove weeds, and the process of removing weeds is something called as weeding. So now how weeding can be done? Weeding can be done in three ways. It can be biological method, it can be manual method, and it can be chemical method. So what we do in a biological method actually, what we do, we put a certain kind of organism into a field which feed on the weeds but do not feed on the main crops. You need to focus that the organism which you put into the field, like rats or cats something, so they are not they should not eat the crops, they should only feed on the weeds. Second thing is that we can do a manual method, that is with the help of hand or with the help of khurpi, we can just pluck them up, we can just remove the weeds. Third is the chemical method, in which we make use of certain chemicals which are meant for this purpose, that they remove weeds, and those chemicals are called as weedicides. Like we have 2,4-D, the full name for 2,4-D is 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Next is NAA, it is naphthalene acetic acid. These are the commonly used weedicides which we actually use to remove weeds. So that means the fourth step is weeding, which is very important, because it may destroy your crops and it must ruin all your efforts that you have put till now. So moving on to the next step, we have the fifth step, that is the pesticides. That means we need to remove pest and we need to supply crop with the pesticides. So first of all, we should know that what actually is the pest. So pests are the organisms that can actually infect the crop. The pests are the organisms that can actually affect the crops. That means they can actually lead to a disease to a crop. And you know that if the crop is infested, that means if the disease occur in the crop, it is not going to the farmer cannot sell that crops into a market, and all the investment he has put till now will go waste. So that means the pest, this control of pest is very important. Now how the pest can affect crop? They can either make holes in them, they can bore into them. They actually bore into them. Bore will be a correct word. They eat plant parts, they just cut off the plant parts. They give the loss of yield, that means they can actually decrease the yield. That means they can actually infect the crops, and so that means the yield which you were going to get this much, you are left with only this much, and this much, that means you have less crop to sell, so that means less monetary gain. Next, they can actually change the color of the crops. Again, it is one of the symptoms that the crop is not of good quality. So we need to remove pests. Definitely we need to remove pests, because we need a good yield and a healthy crops, and moreover we want this thing, you can say it should be a disease free. So what we can use is, we can use certain type of chemicals, that is the pesticides, which includes insecticides, rodenticides. Those all sides have been put into a big branch, that is pesticides. They all fall under pesticides. So pesticides are certainly the pests. They can be rodents, they can be insect, they can be many things. So they are clubbed under one branch, that is pesticides. So pesticides should be used, that is the chemical which actually kill the pest. Now if you just remove the weeds and you remove the pest, so that means you are ensuring that your crops does not get infested in any in any way, and so that means it keeps the crop protected. So this was the fourth and the fourth step weeding, and it is a fifth step, that is pesticides. बस रहने दो.